This video focuses on one play, the Ojabo strip sack in Week 18 versus the Bengals. The primary focus, however, and it's something I wish to get into deeper, I hope to get in more deeply, are the calls in the secondary, these split field coverages, and how I interpret them. Very impressed with the team as a unit, the secondary, the linebackers. We'll let the play run, then we'll get into the coverages to each side. You might be familiar with the term split field coverage. That's in fact what we see here, quarter style or quarters package. But again, two separate calls to either side. We'll start with the call at the top of our screen, the field. I'm going to begin with the responsibilities of the safety. That's Chuck Clark, I believe. Chuck's reading number 2. We're going to call this 2 read, this coverage. You can see his eyes on that route. If this route were to run under or out within 5 yards, in other words, if this number 2 receiver to this side runs an out route in those first 5 or so yards, he's going to turn his attention to number 1. In the event that this is a vertical by number 2, he's got him man to man no matter what. You see that there. He breaks off and covers that number 2 inside receiver. Moving to the outside corner, he's going to take number 1 in man coverage unless 2 is out early. If 2 runs that out route, the corner's job is to come down and cover him man to man. If 1 runs under, that is to say runs some form of drag or cross, and he's going to make a call to Roquan in this case, and he's going to zone off and play deep quarter responsibilities. The wrinkle I think that's very interesting is how they play the back. Who gets the back? In coverage, should he release and not stay into block, which is what happens. He runs to the flat. The quarterback, I think, is thinking that Roquan will have the back in coverage. He may see Kyle Hamilton as being in man coverage. He may interpret this as sort of a 2-read look, with Kyle being that apex wall. Roquan drops and becomes that apex. His job here is to wall and reroute this number 2 and get under him, effectively bracket. I do believe that's what the quarterback was thinking. In a sense, he's fooled here by the role that Hamilton plays in that Hamilton releases and grabs the back. Roquan drops, gets under after walling this route so as to not allow him inside, carries him a little bit, releases him to Chuck vertical. A side note, this outside corner, he's going to bite on a double move and gets burned. So if the rush doesn't get home, that's a problem. I'd like to talk about the coverage at the bottom of our screen. I'm so impressed with the linebackers in their drops so far in what I've watched versus Cincinnati this week. In particular, Patrick Queen, watching how he looks in this game, it's really hard for me to be on board with letting him go. That looks to be the way the Ravens are going, but I'm really impressed by him and impressed by Mike Macdonald and how he has these guys playing. Their communication is just tremendous, very, very evident. I'm going to call this coverage cut, and in this coverage, which is basically cover 2 to the weak side, in this coverage, Patrick has man responsibilities on number 2 if he is vertical. If number 2 is out, he then has hook responsibilities and will drop to get under anything in breaking by number 1. Very difficult. You see this sort of stop or hook up by the tight end here. That's intended to pull Patrick right to him. But you see Patrick in his drop as he reads pass, really, really awesome to see this. He's picking up 1. He's picking up a visual of 1 and 2, which is to say he's got his eyes to Jamar Chase here. Understands that in-breaking route, and I think there's a call being made by Marlon Humphrey here. Let me get this out of the way. Right away, you can see Patrick still with his eyes to this route, but his eyes more particularly to the quarterback. He has an understanding of 1 running behind him. Now watch the drop. Watch how he takes that away. Both of these linebackers so good in that. So really impressed by Patrick here in his drop and his responsibilities so as to not bite. That's really, again, what this route is designed to do. Although you see the quarterback looking to the other side of the field, I do think he was fooled by this switch in assignment or responsibility rather, by Roquan and Kyle, or the interchanging of those responsibilities. And I think he wanted this seam by the tight end. In any case, that's what this route is designed to do. And Patrick does not bite. The quarterback's eventually going to come back around if he's not pressured in the pocket there. And he's going to look for Chase breaking across the middle. The corner in this coverage, and again, I'm calling it cut. I'm sure the Ravens have different names for both of these sides of the field. That's what I'm calling it. He's going to reroute one in this coverage. You see that there. Puts his shoulders to the sideline in case we get some sort of post corner out of one. He can get under that. But his job at this point is to reroute one on a vertical and take anything to the flat. Safety has all of one vertical, and you can see once one goes vertical, Williams focuses in on Chase. Really great drops by the linebackers. These sorts of videos probably have a selective audience, and I'll try to come up with some sort of snappy title so maybe people will watch it. But they interest me a great deal. I'm very impressed by Mike Macdonald, and it's something I plan to watch further.